This is 9 News with Jane Goldsmith.
Good evening. We begin with breaking news, and a man has been charged with 2 counts of arson over the fire that killed at least 6 people at a Wellington hostel earlier this week. TVNZ correspondent Andrew McFarlane has more.
Well, it's a significant development in relation to that fatal hostel fire in Wellington earlier this week. Police have confirmed they've arrested a man and charged him with 2 counts of arson. This is a disaster which has so far killed 6 people, but police have warned that up to 20 others are still missing in relation to this investigation, and they have said as more details emerge, more serious charges could be laid with this investigation. Earlier today, the first bodies were pulled from the building, but police have warned this entire process could go right through to the weekend as they shore up the building, which is structurally in pretty bad shape. The first floor was basically wiped out by this fire. As for the man, he will be appearing in court in Wellington tomorrow morning.
Back home now, and 3 teenage boys on their way home from school have been hit by a car at a Sydney pedestrian crossing. The driver leaving the scene without stopping to help. 9's Elizabeth Bryan has been following the developments.
Well, several hours after a man was taken into custody, he remains here at Chatswood Police Station answering questions over an alleged hit and run. At 3:30 this afternoon, it's understood 3 boys aged between 12 and 14 were crossing a busy intersection in Crow's Nest in Sydney's North Shore on their way home from school when a car allegedly ran a red light and struck the children before witnesses say the driver fled the scene.
I just called 000 and everyone just started helping them, asking them, "Are you okay?" He was saying, "I can't feel my legs, I can't feel my legs."
I saw 3 teenagers lying in the middle of the road, injured. One was pretty bad. And there was a woman trying to help. She was in the middle of the road as well.
The kids are just crossing the lane, and then the car, they hit the kids.
Police and paramedics raced to help the kids, one of whom was knocked unconscious and has a broken leg. The other's injuries less serious, and thankfully tonight all 3 are believed to be in a stable condition. Around half an hour after the boys were hit, police arrested a man in Lane Cove. He's currently assisting them with their inquiries. With many witnesses to this awful incident, police are now appealing for anyone with dashcam or CCTV to come forward.
The actions of New South Wales police officers will be investigated after a 95-year-old great-grandmother was tasered in a nursing home in the New South Wales Snowy Mountains. 9 News understands Claire Nowland, who has dementia, was standing close to her walking frame and was holding a kitchen knife when worried staff called police. She's now in a critical condition in hospital. There's been a major breakthrough tonight for Australia's trade with China, with a ban on our timber lifted from today. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has meetings in Japan tomorrow on day 1 of the G7 summit.
A quick salute from the guest of honour, and Air Force One is bound for Japan. The one-stop trip bound to please Beijing after Joe Biden called off his Sydney visit, leading to the cancellation of a Quad meeting.
It's definitely a short-term win for China.
The unofficial alliance between the US, Japan, India and Australia aims to counter the rise of China as the leaders aim to meet on the sidelines of the G7 in Hiroshima. Today, the Chinese ambassador sending a message from Canberra.
Personally, I don't think the Quad is a good idea. And it's even a worse idea when the Quad is trying to target China.
China has been targeting Australian exports with $20 billion worth of trade sanctions. But today, a breakthrough.
From today on, the Australian timber is going back to China.
A $600 million ban on timber exports has been lifted.
Any progress in lifting these trade restrictions is welcome.
And there are signs there could soon be good news for Aussie wine and barley exporters too.
How long do you think it'll be before full trade resumes between the 2 countries?
Well, I hope it'll be resumed as soon as possible.
China is really trying to drag this out. They're trying to get more and more concessions from Australia.
The Chinese ambassador says Anthony Albanese has been invited to visit President Xi Jinping in China, and the ball is now in Australia's court to propose a convenient time.
Another step forward in the long road to recovery for a relationship that spent years in the deep freeze.
You've spoken today of trust as well. Do you feel like Australia trusts China?
I hope so. China trusts Australia.
Fiona Willan, 9 News.
A senior AFL coach has stood down in a move that's thrown his club into turmoil. North Melbourne's Alastair Clarkson walking away for his own mental health as he faces a racism investigation. The league's boss now reinforcing his call for mediation.
It's a dramatic announcement most at Arden Street didn't see coming.
Unfortunately, we've lost